As we continue our journey through 1 Peter, we come across these verses in chapter 2 that I think merit some time pausing and just seeing what they're all about. And that's verses 11 and 12. You see in verse 11, Peter brings up this concept again about the fact that we're temporary residents in this world and not to buy into our worldly desires. And this goes all the way back to the very beginning of this letter or book where Peter was talking about those displaced members of the church that didn't quite fit in because they were Christ followers. We were talking about that, and I remember Jason had that message about, where's our true home, and who are we called to be is what Peter's been talking about in this, that we're supposed to be different. We're supposed to be set apart. And what I like to say is Peter's been setting up the who. The who are we? Who are we called to be? What does God have planned for us? And for us to be comfortable in that. That alone is hard. But what he talks about in verse 12, I think, is even harder. He's talking about living as an example that our neighbors will see something different in us, that even if they don't agree with us, that it'll give honor to God. I like to say that's the how. He's talking about how do we live out what God is calling us to be. And the exciting thing about these two verses, 11 and 12, this is where we're transitioning from the who to the how. The rest of this letter is about how do we live it out. You might call it Peter's 10-step plan to success as a Christ follower. He gives us all these different specifics, all this different application. We're about to get into the gold mine of this book. So, as we do that, as we go through this transitional statement, I thought I would challenge us all to pause a moment here and prepare ourselves for that transition. Spend some time in the next week in prayer. Now that God's revealed to us the who, ask that He reveal to us individually the how. How do I take my walk with Christ to the next level? No matter what that is. If it's the first baby step, or if you think you're really going in the deep end in your Christ following journey. How do I do that? Ask that this book, from here to the end, just really, really speak to your heart. Really help you engage in your Christ following walk and have a treasure trove of application. So we're looking forward to next week when we get into that application. We'll see you then.